It is indeed a pleasure to have this privilege to play here for you. We intend to give you a very fine program, so just settle back, relax, and enjoy the moment.
Good morning. Thank you, Jazz, for checking on me. Jazz, you my unofficial executive producer. Make sure we are on time. Good morning. We good. How y'all feeling? TGIF, TGIMF, MFF. How y'all doing? I'm glad to see y'all. Shout out. Yesterday was the Spirited Show. I got some pushback, which I knew I was going to get because I was talking about specific things and specific moves. So I welcome that. Just so y'all know, I do have a customer service hotline. If anyone watching and you're not directly in community with me and you're watching and I say something and it land funny, I'm not doing it to be provocative, right? But if anything lands funny and you like, nah, you ain't got it right, hit my jack. We ain't gotta go back and forth in the comments. I'm seriously, that's when I'm the biggest grown up. Outside of that, you know, I'm not much into adulting. I resisted at every turn. But with that, we can talk. But this is what I do. I don't throw stones and hide my hand. I don't run from it. I'm very direct and yeah. So sometimes what I say ain't gonna be warm and fuzzy, especially when I talk about y'all's faves, and that's something I accepted. I'm trying not to engage some of the bullshit. That's something I have to work on and be more disciplined about. But yesterday I was just tired. When I hopped on IG Live. I'm just tired of people blaming Micaiah Bryant for her own death, and tired of that math that we do with girls' bodies, with black girls' bodies. I'm just sick and tired of it. And we didn't do this with Laquan McDonald. We didn't do this with anybody else who might have smelled like they had weed, or was he selling loose cigarettes, or he had a criminal past. We don't do this with black men, but with black girls. And I don't know if it was you, Jessica, that said it in the chat or suggested it. I think it was yesterday on IG Live. Like, why did everyone get behind Breonna? I think because the original narrative was that she was asleep, Breonna Taylor. And I think that black women have to be perfect. And even before we knew, right? Even before we realized, okay, she wasn't asleep in her bed, she and her boyfriend got up. They were scared. They got up to investigate. Her boyfriend was such in a hurry that he put on her pants, her sweatpants, to answer the door. And then we saw this other narrative come out like, oh, she might have been holding weight. She might have been, and that I saw people trying to do that to her when they found out she wasn't asleep. I don't know. It's just something we do with black women and black girls here. We're not afforded the same grace. So yesterday I was tired of it. And so some of your local faves out here, that people I really was giving a shot. I was giving a chance. But you can't be out here talking about a little girl deserved to die. You can't be out here saying that race wasn't a factor. You can't be out here saying that and then in the same breath try to make a martyr out of some knucklehead who antagonized the police. And while it's all day, every day, it's ACAB all day, every day, is defund the police all day, every day, right? It's abolition over here, and I don't believe anyone should get arrested and be in jails. They don't serve a purpose to me. While I believe that, and I don't believe anyone should be incarcerated, that don't excuse you for doing fuck shit and then expecting, like, you ain't a martyr, dude. You're not a political prisoner. Like, we're not doing that. So, like, if y'all out here talking like that and moving like that, it's so funny. My mom and I talked this morning, real early this morning. She said, "You see those activists that got arrested?" That's how my mom talks. She has a real North Carolina accent, real thick. She said, "Tamika, you see those activists that got arrested?" I said, "Yeah, mama." She said, "You know them boys?" I said, "Yeah, mama." It's like, she says, they didn't sound right. And this is real, no cap. She don't know nothing. She don't follow me. She ain't on Facebook. She don't hear none of my commentary. And like she even picked up on like, what, wait, did they have a permit and all that other stuff. Now I ain't gonna get into that, but my mom was just like on one. So anyway, I had something to say, Spicy, and I'm not doubling down, I'm not going there today. I just wanted to just kind of wrap that up. But when my mom wrapped it up for me, it's like she says, that didn't sound right. So anyway, I go with her. Her gut is my shining star, is my guiding light, rather, my North Star. All right, so check it. All right, so today I like this unseasonably cool stuff. I love it. Great. I went out this morning. I got up real early, went to the 24-hour Walgreens on James Island to get some nail glue. It was brisk. It was beautiful. Felt great. Ooh, love it. 42 degrees right now. Let me hit refresh, make sure that's the same. Let me see if that's real. Yeah, 43. All right, and here we go. Here's the forecast. Increasing clouds this weekend, but it's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be beautiful. I don't doubt. This looks real comfortable. I love this. I wish it could stay like this forever. Forever. Y'all ever watch Sandlot? All right, so this is the local news. Oh wait, my grandmother and my mother are from North Carolina. For real? Yeah, that pregnant pause, right? Filled with so many thoughts. So this the digital edition. Y'all, Post and Courier, what y'all trying to do, yo? Y'all don't ever like give Clyburn this type of big ass hole. Like, let me hit refresh on this. We'll still find it. This crazy, like they ain't never did nothing this big. It's not even that. Let me see if it's because I have it blown up. Let me see. Okay, maybe. But I gotta blow it up. It's still like, when y'all do talk about Clyburn, this is what y'all do. All right, so I guess Clyburn, walked around metal detectors. Shout out Remy Ma, Terror Squad, throwback. I don't know. So South Carolina Jim Clyburn could face a $5,000 fine after evading metal detectors in Congress. Clyburn, the lone Democrat representing South Carolina in Congress, confirmed the violation to CNN on April 22nd, saying that he had no idea what happened. I'm just going to click on it real quick to see. Oh, Thomas Novelli wrote this. All right. So U.S. Rep. Jim Clyburn, all right, in Columbia, fined $5,000 evading metal detectors off the House floor earlier this week. Clyburn, okay, we got that. Don't know what happened. Added, it's just somebody on the other side trying to cause mischief. For sure. The House Majority Whip did not clarify his comments during the CNN interview. What y'all saying on Twitch? You got the lean back reference? Thank you. All right. Majority Whip did not clarify his comments. Congressman Clyburn respects the rules of the chamber. This is like a non-story, right? Damn, y'all made that the top of y'all digital news, slow news day? Got a lot of news going on, though. Okay. Fire South Carolina agency boss helped husband with $600K tech bid. I bet. That'd be great to read that. All right. Tim Scott will deliver the GOP response. I've been following that. We're going to hop into video of that real quick. South Carolina's quirky liquor laws give sour grapes to wine giant Gallo. Okay. Can y'all tell me about y'all liquor laws? I've lived two places that had like goofy liquor laws. Pennsylvania is a southern state that just happens to be up there. Like, take Philly out. Take Philly out of that bitch. All right, put Philly as part of South Jersey, because Pennsylvania is like the most like weirdest state when it comes to liquor and everything else, right? Like beer, you can't buy a 6-pack of beer in Pennsylvania. Like, you have to, if in order for people to sell it, they have to serve food, have tables to sell 6-pack. It's weird. Anyway, but y'all's liquor laws down here, Pennsylvania, yep. Y'all's liquor laws down here are like with the mini bottles. Like, y'all got to tell me about the mini. My friend Lauren broke it down. I think Lauren broke it down. Somebody did. The mini bottles, like, I don't get it. And so y'all know I'm not an avid drinker. I'm like a little like, I don't like to feel dizzy. Like, but every time I try to make a move, I'll be like, what's going on? What's going on with y'all liquor laws? So I guess Gallo's trying to come here and, what, they want a vineyard over here or some shit? I don't know. Okay. Well, there's a vineyard on Wadmalaw, apparently. They don't make no sense. All right, let's exit out of that. Let's hit the front page. So when I did go to Walgreens to get my nail glue this morning, I did peep the front page. SC plants trees on Earth Day. Yay. Senate okay Santee Cooper overhaul. Okay. Star teacher ignites passion for science, math, math in girls. Okay. That's a weird way to say it. Ignites passion in girls. I don't know if I would have said that. Math and science, but still, I don't know. That sounds weird. All right. Over here to the right, probe agency leader help husband win it. Okay, we already saw that. We're going to get on that. Let me see. Oh, Avery Wilkes is on it. So if Avery's on it, y'all, get y'all library cards out. If Avery Wilkes wrote it, Go read it with your library card. Ex-Sheriff Underwood's fate now in the hands of jury. Avery wrote that one too. Look like I'm gonna have some nice reading this weekend to catch up on. $8.5 million project to help quench a thirsty Mount Pleasant. They thirsty? Linked to Charleston water system to go below intercoastal waterway. Oh, that might have some environmental implications. Chloe's on that one. Read that. Chloe's cool. She's cool. All right. I'm going to get out of that. That's your front page of your Post and Courier. All right. Boom. So let's go. Let me see the chat. Y'all was really, y'all know about them Pennsylvania laws. Yes. Weird looking. I know you could weigh in. Mara, I know you can weigh in. Oh my gosh, Connecticut was all y'all really. I triggered something in Twitch. Shout out. I'm leaving PA now, and you can't even get a White Claw. Nope, it's crazy. You got to go to Wegmans. Like it's crazy. Pennsylvania liquor laws is nutty. Jessica, you said Connecticut is awful even when we're 21. No alcohol after 7. That stuff is crazy. And that's so fun. Like growing up in Jersey, my dad, shout out dad, used to drink. He don't drink no more. But yeah, like I just remember going to Buy Right with my dad. And it was like Shop Right used to have liquor. Like it just was different. Accessible. I was in college. In New Jersey. I didn't drink a lot, like I said, but it was never like a thing. Like we could always get liquor when we were 21, right? So yeah, it's crazy. Giant Eagle grocery after 6. Yeah, it's crazy. All those laws, and then like you ever look at the root of those liquor laws? The root of those liquor laws is so weird. Like prohibition was just a weird thing in general. All right, so this is top news from South Carolina. I wanted to hop into. Let's see if I can get around the ads. I already played the ad first.
South Carolina senators will deliver the Republican Party's address after the president's address to Congress next week. Senator Tim Scott will speak after the joint session of Congress on Wednesday. The senator was chosen by his GOP colleagues to give that speech. He's considered a potential presidential candidate in 2024. He is the only black Republican in the Senate.
That was crazy, Raphael. What happened, Raphael? He swallowed. He is the only black Republican. All right, so yeah, so we see this, right? And I think I talked about it a little bit here and there on Twitch. We know that they're I did talk about this because Nikki Haley, Nikki Haley's making little movements around here, but we know that Tim is really gonna make a play, and nothing else shows me this more than his recent moves or his previous moves, like the coalition that he built with Kamala Harris and Cory Booker with the anti-lynching legislation, even though he was fucking crickets on the lynch mob that moved through the Capitol. But okay. No, nothing that Tim Scott does around criminal justice reform, nothing that he does around anti-lynching laws, nothing that he does makes me think that, you know what, maybe no, non-starter, nope, nope, not a thing, nothing. So y'all don't fall for this shit, right? And I don't know why the Democrats are like handing him this shit. Like they just handed it to him. I wanted to get to, this is another story. Here we go. I think this also talks about Tim Scott and his recent like movement in and around criminal justice reform, and how, you know, it's giving that bipartisan feel. Like, I'm black, I can relate to the black people. And remember, I told you this, right? I do use the word right a lot. I watched my Twitch stream yesterday. I'm like, damn, you say right every other 5 seconds. So remember, though, the rise of the black male conservative, that's the new flavor. That's the flavor du jour. That's going to be it. So a lot of that means that it has to be someone trustworthy, someone scandal free, probably someone from the South, because we're in the black belt, right? And then, you know, Tim Scott loves to racialize poverty and racialize crime, right? So that's why he's doing the bidding of the GOP, which largely likes to racialize poverty and racialize crime by getting behind these issues, right? And the Democrats do this shit too, right? Whenever they want to talk to black people, oh, criminal justice reform, even though that's not everyone's thing. Like, if you go to my parents or you go to my twin brother in Illinois, they're not going to say criminal justice reform. Like, that's not going to be their top priorities, as, you know, just as black people in America. Two very different, like, my brother and my parents are very different politics, right? But they're not going to say that. But this is what the Dems and this is what a lot of politicians do, traffic in this nonsense. But let me play the clip and stop talking.
We're gonna fight for everybody.
From George Floyd's family, a call to Congress to pass.
Now, okay, real quick though, this is from WUSA 9, so this is a CBS News affiliate out of the DMV area.
The George Floyd Justice in Policing Act, a bill that bans chokeholds, some no-knock warrants, and prohibits racial and religious profiling.
Can you see any form of this bill getting through the Senate in any kind of compromise form?
Yeah, I think that we can, which, you know, is the miracle to be able to say.
Dr. Ravi Perry, political science chair at Howard University, notes Democrats want to make it easier for people to sue police officers, ending what's known as qualified immunity. But tonight, an idea allowing police departments to be sued instead of officers.
I want y'all to consult that graphic. If you reached out to me, you got the PDF. Consult the graphic. What do you think about this? So this is a compromise on qualified immunity. Okay, let's sue police departments, not cops.
Is coming from Republican Senator Tim Scott.
That is a clear indication that, you know, that Republicans in general are recognizing that perhaps they are not the party that solely can engage with police reform and criminal justice issues as they perhaps had historically been.
But Republican lawmakers in 34 states introduced 81 anti-protest bills since George Floyd's death. That count from the International Center for Not-for-Profit Law.
They are getting a lot of bills to be introduced. The reality here is that folks are realizing that systemic issues that are occurring across the country are certainly disproportionately impacting African Americans, African American men, young people, but it's the issue that impacts everybody.
Mike Valerio, WUSA 9.
Okay, so I wanted to show that.
Gonna fight for
so that also, I'm messing around too much. So that just was I just wanted to show or showcase Tim Scott's movement on this issue. Yeah, what's Sue Washington? Oh, okay, just y'all. Who's this? How y'all doing? Shout out ShopRite. You know, the real ones know. All right, I'm gonna exit out of this video right here. So we're done with Tim Scott. He's gonna give the address. We got that. I wanted to talk about this news too. We touched on this a couple weeks ago. Nancy Mace has some competition. So this is the woman, she's the caregiver and she's the military wife. North Charleston military wife announces challenge versus South Carolina Nancy Mace in 2022 for the GOP primary. So her name is Linz Piper Loomis, announced on April 19th. Let me see what's going on here. Please play. Kia, I am not playing that. You and my mama go somewhere with that Al Sharpton. I'll find a clip. I'll find a clip. All right. So yeah, this woman's gonna run up against Nancy Mace. Let me see more about her. Let's see if the other one I got from, I think that was Fitz News. Y'all know how I feel about that. I think this is the first time I'm seeing this in the Post and Courier. So Lynn Piper Loomis formally announced her candidacy on April 19th at White Point Gardens. Oh, I didn't even know that. During her speech, Piper Loomis said she stood for anti-abortion policies, protection of the Second Amendment, and advocating for addressing veteran homelessness. She also said she wants to free people from the tyrannical government. Okay. And says she wants to examine election integrity. Okay, so you okay. Remember now, election integrity is code for what? Voter suppression. Yeah. She been married. They keep bringing up her husband, which is pretty sexist, but is she putting that out there as like, is she running as a wife? I will not be silenced. I will not bow down to an agenda. Okay, and I think too, let me just say this. I know the Dems like to get on SNL and set, not the Dems. I know liberal culture is, let's make fun of the wacky GOP women. This shit is lucrative too. So being a black male conservative is lucrative, but this shit is lucrative too. Marjorie Taylor Greene raised $3 million as a freshman congresswoman. Right? Marjorie Taylor Greene, that shit works. That shit works. So, this is an interesting, okay. Yeah. Great QAnon dog whistle for sure. Voter suppression. You got it. I cut you up before you said it. Defund the politicians. Hi, I just found your channel this morning. Good morning. Thank you for, chiming in. She's campaigning on that Wayfair child. Oh no, QAnon. Oh my gosh, y'all got it. This is crazy. I'm looking at the chat for those watching on maybe Facebook and on YouTube. I'm looking at the chat here on Twitch. Yeah, this is definitely QAnon. Interesting choice. If you GOP, I would have wore something red, I think. Unless this is some kind of QAnon signal. A lot of bows here. Okay. So that story, I wanted to gloss over that. I did want to get into like certain movements right now in Washington. I really encourage you all. Like I said, I'm gonna try to stop going to too many mainstream. You can't avoid it sometimes, but it's too many mainstream news sources. I'm trying to integrate things that I actually consume. So that's why I'm incorporating more Roland Martin. I'll incorporate more Democracy Now! I'll incorporate more, I love PBS NewsHour. That's in general, but that's not a black news source. But I'm going to start doing that more black voices and voices of color in media. And I encourage you all to. And you keep them all honest, right? Keep me honest. Keep us all honest. People who are in this media space. But I want to just play this real quick clip from an academic I love. You should follow him on Twitter, Dr. Carr. This is not Dr. Carr right here, but I'm gonna play this clip real quick, and it just kind of talks about like the dynamics of power. It's real. It's gonna feel a little bit misplaced because then I'm gonna transition to other things. But just wanted like seeing reading the tea leaves, seeing who's running up against Nancy Mace, seeing Tim Scott make his moves, and you see how cautious the Dems are, especially around this infrastructure bill. Like the GOP just released their version. Like this whole dance and shit. It's like, who's in power? Who's the majority leader, right? Let's have that conversation. And I think when you consider or you view other news sources, especially black-led news, I love black media. You kind of get those questions asked and maybe answered.
That's right.
Look, Greg, go ahead.
No. Go right ahead. I'm sorry, brother.
Well, but here's the deal, though. I mean, I understand that particular point there, but guess what? If the Republicans are able to push through their voter suppression bills, that's going to be a problem, because here's the piece. Right now, Democrats only hold a 4-vote majority in the House. If the Republicans gerrymander congressional seats, Democrats could lose 5 seats in Florida alone. Boom, your majority is gone.
It's
And so this is what's at stake, right? And the way they're moving is so weird in terms of how they're not. Somebody else said this, or I gotta find that clip one day. But how like you can throw your full support behind some of this legislation. Like there's some things that the Biden administration could have done from day one to stave off some of this voter suppression stuff. This was predictable. After Obama, we saw the same backlash, right? We saw the same aggressive movements toward voter suppression and gerrymandering and redistricting, right? So I don't know why this was so predictable. Actually, we saw it. They kept showing us tipping their hand the entire time they were in office with Trump. So I don't know why we're moving so cautiously. So I think that this conversation, to me, this little bit that I'm going to show, is really important to have in mind when we're talking about politics, that national politics.
true, Roland. I mean, and I must agree with Dr. Dominga. We have to, and we've been saying this all along, and this is another reason why this space is so damn important. Folks, tell people to really support Roland Martin Unfiltered, because this is a nuanced conversation. We have to be thinking not only the short game, but the long game. The midterm elections were always going to be in play. The Democratic Party, quadrupling down on their appeal to the lost white nationalist vote, flubbed these recent elections again. But because it was a presidential election, black and brown folk, particularly black folk, voting in our own interest and in self-defense, put Donald Trump out of office. The midterms, we always knew there was going to be an incremental battle because the Democrats messed up this past election cycle. What that means is that, as you said, we're at a deep inflection point. Today, for example, the Florida Supreme Court threw out and invalidated a ballot measure that was being proposed to decriminalize, actually to legalize recreational marijuana. That, combined with the attempt by the GOP-controlled state legislature to diminish the capacity to put ballot initiatives in play in Florida, is their attempt to hold on for this naked power grab. As we heard Reverend Barber talk about today in testifying for the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, you've got in 47 states 300 plus different amendments that have been put into state legislatures to try to stop this. They're not going to be able to stop people from having babies, and they're not going to be able to maintain control. But in this little 18 to 24 month window we have, this will be the last time that this prospect of American democracy can be solved without violence. Because
it's so true, and I'm gonna stop it there. It's like we're at this really specific point in our history where we have to be aggressive and bold in staving off some of these attacks on our democracy. And I don't know why. Well, I know why the Dems don't have like that thing to want to engage in this fight in a thoughtful and meaningful way, right? Hopping into the chat on Twitch. Do you follow historian Heather Cox Richardson's letters on Facebook? She connects a lot of the stuff in threads. I'm gonna start doing that. I think I do. I'm not on Facebook like that. Kia, you was watching Joy Reid. I wanted to hop into that. I heard some sound from Joy Reid that I was going to play. We might hop into that real quick. Might go over to MSNBC's clips. Be like, they be funny. I gotta hop on. Black voters saving America yet again. Yeah, getting squat in return. That's the thing. It's such an abusive relationship. Thank you for acknowledging that. Appreciate it. Yeah, Tucker that's the thing. Tucker is literally quoting like, I'm not even being hyperbolic. He quotes white nationalists and quotes classic white nationalist like text. He just takes out a couple of words and then puts a question mark behind whatever he says, right? Doesn't make it declarative. And that's why, like, Caesar McKnight, yo, you played yourself. Congratulations. Because you on a show, like, just because you mad, you butthurt because behind some trans legislation, some anti-trans legislation, you gonna go to Tucker Carlson? Really? He's a whole Klansman. How you a black man with integrity? Your wife should have put you out on the street if you got one. Next thing I wanted to do, I teased out, this is just me reading the Washington Post because I have a subscription now. I teased there was nothing really on the Washington Post outside of just taking a look at their digital news. That's it. That's one reason why this is up. But I teased out that I was going to talk about GOP moves. Oh, that's what it was. Here we go. You know what? Yeah, here we go. So local coverage. It's just a little local.
U.S. Senator Tim
Local reiteration.
Scott will deliver the GOP response to President Biden's joint address to Congress next Wednesday. It marks the president's first 100 days in office.
Okay. So there's a lot of 100-day retrospects going on. Oh, this was painful to watch right here. I don't even want to revisit that. And then I want to go, here, I teased out this mayonnaise sandwich right here. All right.
Political news, former 1st District Congressman Joe Cunningham has filed initial paperwork that could lead to a run for governor. He hasn't said for sure whether he's running, but the State Ethics Commission says the paperwork is a first step.
Damn, Black Dims, y'all gave this white boy all this? This is Mother Emanuel related. Look at Dixon up here. No, dude can find the camera. Dixon can find the camera, y'all. Ain't no way he should be up here. This old. Yeah, this is old. This is right after Mother Emanuel. Kyline, new pastor here, AME, Clyburn, and you got old boy. Yeah, got Gregory here. I'm into this, so I'm into optics. Like when you do this, like there's power in having this moment. I'm sure what he said wasn't great because Joe Cunningham is not a great speaker. He's not a great talker. Like y'all can't tell me that. You can't tell me one signature Joe Cunningham speech that didn't involve a fucking 6-pack. Tell me one memorable Joe Cunningham press moment that didn't involve his baby, him in a scuba gear, and a 6-pack. I'll wait for the chat to tell me. Exactly. I ain't gonna wait. Exactly.
For anyone wanting to do so. After serving 2 years in Congress, Cunningham lost his seat to...
After serving one term, WLTX, let me rewind that because I was talking. After serving one term.
He's running, but the State Ethics Commission says the paperwork is a first step for anyone wanting to do so. After serving 2 years in Congress, Cunningham lost his seat to Republican Nancy Mace.
He got the bro vote. Tom Novelli is already ready. Tom Novelli is ready.
Thank you, Mr.
He's
Chairman.
ready.
And Reverend Sharpton.
Political news.
Oh
Former
my God!
First
Sorry,
District
y'all.
Congressman
I'm acting like my mom on YouTube. All right. Let me see what else was there. Was there anything else? I wanted to hit up on this real quick. We're going to zig and zag. We're going to zig back out of South Carolina to this right here.
On Capitol Hill now, the Senate has passed a bill that would help combat the rise of hate crimes against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. The measure would speed up the review of hate crimes at the Justice Department. It would also provide support for local law enforcement in response to thousands of reported violent incidents over the past year or so.
As important as the content and substance of the bill is the message of this bill that we in the Senate are going to stand with our AAPI community and indeed any community that is discriminated against on the basis of race or any of the categories that you and I can think of. So in a really strong vote, 94-1.
Guess who the one was? Now this is a pop quiz. Guess who the one was? I'm not even gonna let it play. I'm gonna actually quiz y'all and wait for real. Guess who the one was? Don't Google it. Right? Guess who the one who didn't vote? Who didn't vote? I don't see nothing yet. Bueller. I don't see nothing. I'm gonna hop over here to some serious stuff going back to Charleston. Oh, no, there you go, D. D got it. Yup. Oh, she beat you out, Chico the man. D just beat you by a hair. Yup. Yeah. Sorry. That's all right, Ashley. You get to take home the the home version of the game. I had to hit you up. My game is called I'll Wait. My game is Who's anti-black? Who's anti-Asian? That's my game. Who's racist? I'll wait. The home edition. You almost had it. Yeah, Hawley is a mess. Oh my God. Like, and I know it's some political move that to me it's just, I can't wait to, like, this is not new, but it is. I can't wait to this, like, I'm going to stunt in being ignorant. I'm going to stunt in, like, I can't wait till it becomes out of fashion to be blatantly bigoted. I can't wait. Like, there was a time, like, coming out of the 60s, it wasn't cool, right? Like, I feel like at least it wasn't cool. You were still doing it. Like, they still were writing hella problematic policies, right? Throughout the 80s and 90s. I'm not even trying to trip. But it wasn't like this whole, I can just go out there and just be so bold with my bigotry. Like, I just can't wait till that's kind of like not the style no more. It's so corny. All right, so I wanted to hop back. This is the update. I didn't cover. There was an update. Now, this story was written January 12th, and then there was an update 3 days ago by Gregory Yee about Jamal Sutherland. Remember, Jamal Sutherland died while at the Sheriff Al Cannon Detention Center in January. And remember, Kristen Graziano was elected in November, right? Okay, just making the timeline clear. Who we got to hold accountable, who we need questions from. And we know also SLED has this investigation, right? Right. All right. So a week after, this story was written initially in January around the time of Jamal Sutherland's death. A week after a Goose Creek man died at Charleston County Jail, where he was brought by deputies after a confrontation at a mental health facility. An attorney representing the man's family says troubling questions have emerged in the case. When we went over some of those questions, I want to get down to the bottom. I want to get kind of down to lower in the story where I believe some of the updates are. I don't know if it works that way, but there were still questions surrounding. There was something I read this morning that I was like, oh, I didn't know that. Okay, let me see. There was this part right here. The patient who initiated a series of events charged with third-degree assault and battery. The report says Sutherland was charged with one count of the same charge. Both men were brought to Al Cannon. The next morning, Sutherland was dead. Pepper, that's the family's lawyer, Pepper said the case raises several troubling questions, including why Sutherland was arrested in the first place. The attorney said third-degree assault and battery is a low-level misdemeanor charge that doesn't have to end in an arrest. Officers have discretion to issue a ticket. This is what I didn't know. I didn't know that. So you can issue a ticket instead. In Charleston County, officers have been directed to bring people in mental health or addiction crisis to Tri-County crisis stabilization centers instead of booking them into jail. That's what I didn't know either. The attorney said his client's son has no prior criminal record, and what happened after his incarceration also raises serious questions. Okay? While he's unsure as to the events leading up to Sutherland's death, Pepper said he confirmed detention deputies used a stun gun several times to try to subdue Sutherland, who died after the altercation with deputies. The statement from Antonio, the sheriff's spokesoffice, had no mention of this claim. So there you go with cops. See? There you go with cops. Like, not let me not say it like that. See? But seriously, we have an issue with law enforcement not being forthright in their documentation of incidents that either end in a shooting or end in a death, in a fatality. And this is why when you report these stories, you have to really dig deep and speak to as many principals and as many people involved as possible. So we know that Gregory Yee has been writing on this. So that's something to follow when you get your library card and you hop on to CCPL or Richland County Library. You use the database, use Newsbank, whatever it is. Hop on, follow Gregory Yee's reporting on this story in the Post and Courier, and also follow Fleming Smith's coverage of this story and similar stories with your library card. All right. But yeah, I didn't know that. Like, you could have just wrote him a ticket. And I didn't know anything about the Tri-County Crisis Stabilization Centers. Hello? So we have actual stopgap measures that weren't used, right? So again, when law enforcement is called, and the mental health facility called law enforcement, when they're called, they only have one or two tools that they use, right? Incarceration, and maybe deadly or lethal force, right? they're not social workers, but I don't know why this Tri-County Crisis Stabilization Center was not an option. I don't know. I'm looking at the chat. Yeah, my sentiments exactly, Justin. Right? Yeah, you never wrestle with someone and they just die, right? Exactly. Evelyn, you said we need to push back hard on this thing about how tasers are. That's true too. People are going into having cardiac events, and that's exactly what I thought. And I know that we said you could have tased them. Like, you know, people were saying that a lot about with the Micaiah Bryant story. I feel you. Like, I feel like there might be less of a chance. I think that's what we all feel, but you're right. They can be very problematic as well. I really do want to study other countries who I just need to know what's going on. I know bad things happen. I know a gun is slipping here and there. I know a machete will come out here and there or whatever. But I really want to know what other countries do, because whatever we doing is not working. And you definitely can have someone go into cardiac arrest using those tasers, right? Right. But that being said, I think you have a more of a fighting chance with a taser than you do with so I don't know, like they are they or are they not less lethal? I don't know. I feel like a taser is less lethal technically, but they definitely can be lethal. Is that, I don't know if that makes sense. But obviously we're seeing that this we don't even know what happened. Well, other than he was tased to go to a court appearance that he didn't have to go to. Legally, he didn't have to go to. So this was updated about 3 days ago in the paper. And like I said, I alluded to some things yesterday. I'm going to leave it at that. But from what I'm hearing, Sheriff Graziano is not motivated to actually... I know she probably can't now because of SLED's involvement, but she's not motivated to divulge anything other than what we've been reading in the paper. So we're at the mercy of law enforcement. Yeah, so I'm gonna close out that window. I'm trying to make sure I covered some things. There was some disturbing video, but I'm not gonna play it. There was an arrest in Salisbury, North Carolina, that really disturbed me. 67-year-old, I think it happened last year or 2019. 67-year-old black librarian wrestled and just manhandled by cops. Just weird. Just gotta stop. So yeah, we're done with this story. I wanted to hop into this. I teased a couple things. Plantation tourism. Oh yeah, we might be able to end on a fun note. Even though this is not fun. So yeah, so shout out to Michelle Perry. I told y'all to follow Black Southern Belle. Michelle Perry always has her finger on the pulse. She and I we see a lot of things through a similar prism, right? Through a similar lens. We view a lot of the same issues with the same perspective. So this is a young gentleman. I'm going to read up on this. I meet the founder who started a movement to end plantation tourism. Yeah, this is a thing. Right? Many plantations continue to allow for weddings, drinking, and festivities to take place where thousands perished. And I think this is such a critically important conversation to have, especially as tourism season starts to rev up. Right? It's hard to imagine that America has only one plantation memorialized solely memorialized solely to the history of slavery, right? McLeod better catch up, because I know they're talking about that one in Louisiana, right? While many are focused on weddings, drinking, and hosting festivities on sacred ground, there's one man who seeks to memorialize these places of resilience, strength, and hope, despite the atrocities committed against so many of our ancestors. Definitely feel you on the resistance and strength part. I don't know about the hope. Talk about the plantations that burned, like the ones that Harriet Tubman helped burn down. Talk about those. That'd be fun. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely follow up on this story. I want to transition and kind of take y'all back to, oh yes, an article that I was featured in. But real talk, make sure if you can use your library card. You know how the New York Times gets a little sticky with their with how you get around their paywall. But make sure you revisit the story that was published last year about Charleston tourism is built on Southern charm. Locals say it's time to change that local charm. You know what that is. That's a euphemism for me. Southern charm is a euphemism for a lot of the problematic things that we traffic in. So go back and read this story from last August. It's really, really dope. But remember, like there was like a rash of articles. The reason why I brought this up for real, not because I was in it, but the reason why I brought this up is because there were a rash of articles that came out that year and the year before. Celebrities coming out saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, I had a plantation wedding. I'm sorry," right? And if you watched my Twitch stream on Sunday, you already know I talked about Colin Quashie's work that challenges that as well. I might pull that back up. Yeah, actually, let me pull that up. I thought that was really good. Plantation. I thought the text with the art the subversive art that he made, the text that accompanied it was really good. Oop. Let's see if we can get that PDF from Halsey. Let's see. Did we get it? Why is the images all? Let me see. We get that. Let me see. Let me do it like this. I'm gonna read that caption once more. I'm gonna beat a horse. I don't like saying that other way. Okay, hold on 1 second. Let's see. Here we go. Linked exhibition. All right. And then we're gonna go down to let's see if we can find it. Yeah. Right here. Let's see if we can get the explainer to go with it. No? What the hell? It's like a whole PDF. Okay. We're gonna forego it. And now it crashed. All right. So anyway, I'll revisit it later, but it was some great commentary. But let's go to this clip real quick. So again, a rash of articles came out around 2019. Remember, Charleston is the #2 wedding destination city behind, I believe, Las Vegas. I believe we still have that distinction. You know, this is like the bachelorette party capital of the world. It feels like, yeah. It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. But this is what triggered it. Like, this is what triggered a very large discussion, like a national discussion about these plantations. And you know, CVB and all them, they were feeling the heat, and some of them have started to scramble. Right, Boone Hall scrambled a little bit. I think Middleton Place scrambled a little bit. I don't know how I feel about that dude that's like doing the slave dwelling things where you have to go sleep in a slave dwelling to understand slavery. I don't know how I feel about that. Y'all know how I don't really resonate with people, black people, white people, who tell you that you have to perform, that black people have to perform their oppression for you to empathize with the pain of surviving some of these atrocities. I don't think I had to sleep in a slave dwelling to do that. So I don't know how I feel about that. I know they got like critical acclaim here because it was real, and a lot of white people say, "Oh, you should do it. You should go and sleep at the plantation." The fuck? I don't know. Let me hop into the chat real quick before I play this video. I swear, if I hear or see one more person on social media say they want to visit Charleston because of Southern charm, I'm telling you, as a former Uber driver who did not watch the show and didn't know wasn't into it at all, didn't get the allure, or Southern charm in general and Southern charm the show, like both, didn't get that charm either. I think Savannah might have us beat. Oh, you know what? You would know, Evelyn. I am going to yield to you on that one. I bet, because that sounds about right. Savannah might be, yeah. Folly Beach and Savannah. Captain Glitter, you said earlier, I was under the impression that they are in Tri-County. Oh, you talking about the other one, behavior. Okay. About the response to the Jamal Sutherland piece. I got you. I'm gonna look into those things that are available for people in mental health crisis that don't include incarceration. But let's get back to the plantation tour. Let me do that.
Attention, and you just have to see this. I'm gonna read the entire review. A woman named Carla, she wrote, "My husband and I were extremely disappointed in this tour. We didn't come to hear a lecture on how..."
Y'all remember this when this went viral?
the white people treated slaves. We came to get this history of a Southern plantation and get a tour of the house and grounds. The tour guide was so radical about slave treatment, we felt we were being lectured and bashed about the slavery. My ancestors were from Sicily, never owned slaves, and my husbands were German, and none of
What's up, Sophia from Sicily?
his ever owned slaves. I am by far not a racist or against all Americans having equal rights, but this was my vacation. And now we are crossing all plantation tours off our list. It was just not what we expected. I'll go back to Louisiana and see some real plantations that are so much more enjoyable to tour. And wait, before you react, I want you to know that like a little bit before the show started, I found another review.
Oh my God.
There's another one. And so then I started scrolling down the thing. Sarah posted this one too. I'm not pleased with the guide. This is a woman named Vicky. Vicky said she is not pleased.
This is McLeod. McLeod be getting white people mad. They want Gone with the Wind. We was like, nah, you won't get some of this Combahee River.
With the guide, he talked about slavery in general, slavery around the plantation, and how they were mistreated. We got very little information about the McLeod family and their relationships or their family's role during this time. We were shown the slaves' living quarters and outside kitchen first. So we were finally able to walk in the house. No furniture of that time period in the house. No furniture at all. Don't waste your money. I don't know about the other guys, but this one was stirring the pot. And then just one last thing, New York Times columnist Jamel Bowie tweeted this in response.
Y'all know I love Jamel Bowie. Shout out Jamel Bowie.
And the fact that many Americans think of plantations as vacation destinations to be enjoyed like Disney World is sort of all you need to know to understand how we got to this place in our politics.
That's it. The foundation of our politics. Our capitalism, started King Cotton, Carolina Gold, Indigo, all that. Right? And I think it's so weird. It's like waking up a sleepwalker abruptly, right? Like that whole old saying, like, don't wake a sleepwalker because it could be violent. It's like people, y'all been deprived of y'all history so badly. Like it's just been so violently ripped and violently hidden from you that you don't even understand that it's a labor camp. It's not a garden. And yet when you go on McLeod, there is none of that furniture. There aren't like this, it isn't this whole like, oh, we're gonna set it up like how it might have looked in that. No, and they start with the slave quarters. They start with where the labor started. They start where the dairy house. They start over that structure on McLeod, the brick structure where you can see the fingerprints of the little fingerprints of the enslaved children that labored there, who had to work at young ages and flip bricks to dry in the sun. Like, yeah, that's what a plantation was. What the fuck y'all thought was y'all thought it was all parties and Gone with the Wind? No. And it's just really weird. It's really weird when people have that kind of reaction to a historically accurate, and it's a county park. So it ain't like they wilding, it ain't like they playing, Public Enemy and like, it's like they ain't just sprinkling in like a bunch of, it's a county park. It has they have a curriculum, they have a library. Like I saw the library. Me, when I go on these things, me and the Rangers at Park Systems, I'm in their car shout out Chris Barr. We were down there in Beaufort. I ended up in the car. I was in there. We were riding around places, going to secret locations, looking at books, all of that. Like I left the gift shop with mad stuff. It was just, whenever I go to these places, I'm like, yo, can you show me the real stuff? And they take you upstairs and they let you see the behind the scenes and they show you the furniture that they cleared out of the plantation, but that hasn't gone to another. Like, I love it. So it's educational as hell. I always have fun. All these these rangers down here are like with it too. Like they just let me ask all the questions. It's super dope. Evelyn, you saying, and they tell you that the house did not look that way, right? When it was a plantation, it was embellished later. Yes, and it's built backwards too, right? It's built kind of backwards, right? The grand part is, but they did all of that. Thank you, Evelyn. You do need to go. We meant road trip. So, yeah, I think McLeod does a great job. And that lady, that previous comment, she said that She said she would go back to Louisiana with real plantations. Ain't the Whitney plantation? Ain't that in Louisiana? Right? Let's just play this.
The first museum in America dedicated entirely to slavery opened just a few months ago.
R.I.P. Charlie Rose's career.
Michelle Miller traveled to Wallace, Louisiana, and found a surprising history, not just about a plantation, but her own family. Michelle, good morning.
Good morning. Well, about an hour's drive from New Orleans along the Mississippi River sits the
real plantations.
Civil War era sugarcane plantation. The Whitney plantation looms as a stark reminder that our nation was built on the backs of slaves. It's a tough part of our history to remember, but one man is investing a fortune to bring it all back to life. This house is full of secrets.
They would sleep on pallets on the floors.
Beneath whitewashed ceilings.
See, they don't want to hear this. I want to hear this shit. Like, how was life really like?
Quiet gardens, a dark history unfolds. Tourists peer into cages where slaves were beaten. Statues of black children stare back at them. In this sanctuary, memorializing the harsh reality of slavery, one figure seems out of place.
Good to see you.
77-year-old John Cummings.
Most people operate on ready, aim, fire, and I always operate on ready, fire, and an aim.
16 years ago,
I didn't get that.
The New Orleans native and millionaire trial lawyer jumped at the chance to buy this 250-acre plantation without really knowing what he was getting into. What didn't you know?
And I got to the slave part, and I saw some of the inventories from successions, and I was looking, man, 40 people just traded like cattle. And so then I discovered the oral histories, and that's when the light went on.
I got something here.
Well, I've got a great injustice here.
It's crazy that that's not the reaction from folks who own similar properties in the states here, not in the Low Country.
Cummings decided to dedicate the entire plantation to the slave perspective. He spent $8 million of his own money collecting antiques and commissioning art. The vacant Whitney started coming back to life.
I tell people when they say, well, why is a white man involved in this? I'll say, well, don't you remember it was a white man who caused all of this?
Here we honor the memory of 107,000 people.
To give it a voice, Cummings hired Senegalese historian Dr. Ibrahim Seck.
It is just amazing how these people...
Seck culled diaries and inventories from auction and estate sales. He found more than 100,000 names of slaves traded and sold through the Louisiana Territory. Each name is etched into these walls.
Look at those walls. That's crazy. I got a little fell into that. So I just think that I would love to imagine like if we had this type of response to the history. And this is the thing about the CVB that I don't get. Campaign for this. Campaign that these not that the plantations do a little bit. Hire a couple of black people, hire a couple of basket weavers, right? Don't just do that. Actually, like, do something to actively talk about this. And you can still have people, you can still admit guests. You can still charge admission. But they're getting they're getting real history. And they're getting, it's some sort of semblance of justice is my point. So, yeah, Jessica, you said it's important, but that 8 million would have you up going fighting today's injustices. Yeah. Yeah, but this is important because these this is important too. I hear you. That's a lot of money. He probably got a lot. What? I don't know what he does with the proceeds. That's the other thing too. I want to keep checking in on that. Like what? I'm always skeptical of white folks. But he was talking right? He was talking right in that piece right there, at least that piece. But I do want to know more about this project and all those other things. But I think if you watch the rest, I think they tell you more about how he does. I haven't seen this in years. I remember when this came on. Yeah, about 2015. Yeah. But and then Essence, I told y'all to watch Black Media. So Essence did one too. So Essence.com did one too. So you could try to like maybe get a black journalist, her perspective and
Whitney Plantation.
The Whitney Plantation is a sacred ground. So many people
yeah.
suffered here.
Try to find that video. Watch that one. I think I watched this years ago as well. But yeah, it's just really interesting. So yeah, I wanted to end. Oh no, I wanted to end here. Okay, here we go. So talking about slave plantations. So I am going to do more, maybe to investigate people who are actively working against ending plantation tourism, and start speaking about that more on this platform. But white folk, you can still enjoy the South without enjoying slavery. You can still poke fun, have fun, and laugh about the South without talking about, the things, the tropes. And nothing reminded me more of that than this yesterday, than your boys. My butt cheeks were so tight watching this when I saw the title. It says people who film weddings because of Charleston. I said, Lord, if they are, and I don't know if they're on, it doesn't look like it, but they don't center the P word. Plantation. That's what I'm talking about.
Your special day isn't just a paycheck to us. It's also a referral.
Hi, I'm Joey.
And I'm Sean.
Don't you dare call us videographers.
We're filmmakers. We're wedding filmmakers. We make immersive highlight narratives.
If you don't cry,
then we didn't do our job.
We create very passionate, romantic films for audiences of just the bride.
And the bride's mom. The last one got 10 views.
The bride watched it 10 times.
It was that good.
We make it a point to truly understand our clients.
Which is why we figure out what their parents do before we give them a quote. We're the most expensive work that no one really sees.
Some of our films include Jack and Diane,
Tegan and Sarah,
Josh and Brianna.
Unfortunately, that one had a sequel.
Well, she's working on turning that one into a franchise.
Here comes the bride. Take the lens cap off. Oof, that was close.
With wedding filmmaking, you work on these dynamic sets. Like last week, we were at a barn.
And then the week before, we were at this other barn and it had reclaimed wood.
So the one thing, it's funny, it's cute. Y'all know it's cute. I'm gonna stop it. It's cute. They did another cute video. They've been churning them out. Tegan and Sarah. But they don't talk about plantations. You can have fun. You can talk. Look, you get married in a barn. We ain't got a center plantation. Up and coming city vibes. Like, you don't have to
wood on it. Oh, and then we were at a working barn. One of the most difficult decisions of the day is where to put the dress for the dress shot.
Is it going to be in the crevice of the bedpost?
The barn door. One time we put it on the back of a Maserati. Unfortunately, it fell off. We got sued. Nothing's more.
It's so stupid. Oh, open a venue with a barn. Did you? When I first moved here, there were a couple people who had some interesting spaces. Just because there's so much green spaces, you don't have to go to a plantation. I assure you, you can get married and have a Southern charm type bullshit ass wedding without being on a plantation. I'm just playing, but that aesthetic is just, to me, it's kind of, that's why they're poking fun at it, that aesthetic. Yeah, that dog. I know, right? I was like, is the dog okay? All right. But anyway, it's stupid funny for sure. But yeah, that's it. I'm going to go ahead and transition. I was spicy yesterday. I'm trying to like, just quiet. Let's just bring it down a little bit. But thank you so much for watching this week. It was an emotional week. It still is. As I wrap up work this week, things really, who got married in it? Justin, you got married in a barn? Oh, Lord. We can't be friends. You such a... Oh, wow. I'm sure it was cute. You can share a photo with me. I'm sure it was cute. I'm single and bitter, so that's why I'm whatever. But no, thank y'all. This week was crazy. Just appreciate the commentary. Appreciate people really participating in this discussion. We ended on a funny note, on like a light note, but there's a lot going on. It's so disruptive. I know I didn't play the Dante right. The funeral really kind of like messed me up. Kia, if you're still watching, I'm sorry. The funeral kind of messed me up. The viewing did. I didn't know they were gonna live stream the viewing. I didn't know it was gonna be open casket, and seeing that really messed me up. So I know that I'm sure Joy Reid, I'm sure Al Sharpton, they really did. Joy Reid did a great job covering everything this week. I don't really show her stuff that much. I'm not a big Joy Reid watcher, but I need to hop in there a couple times. But yeah, that being said, y'all, please keep let's center folks' local issues. Let's center what we got going on here in Charleston, our local law enforcement, how they respond to incidents, how they police black bodies, how they police the bodies of the mentally ill. We have to lift up Jamal Southerner's name, keep that name up. The family's going to fight for justice. I don't know the family, but I don't think that it's wrong to keep his name and keep his name in the public sphere, lifting it up. Please continue to just interrogate the police, question their tactics, but more importantly, just hold space for black people this week. And black folk, we don't have to do the work of the oppressor, right? If you don't have anything to say, if you don't know what to say about the Ma'Khia Bryant situation, and the only thing you could do is blame the young lady because she had a knife and she was, the only thing you could do is blame her for her death, just go ahead and sit that one out. Sit that one out. Right? Let's really center the real issue. It's police responding to incidents with lethal force, and that's not right. Especially they do it with us disproportionately. It's not right. All right, y'all take care. I'll see you on, I don't know, I don't think I'm gonna hop on a weekend. I'll see y'all next week for sure, maybe this weekend. And if any news breaks today, I'm gonna hop the fuck back on too here, so you can look out for that. All right, see y'all soon. Bye. See you next week.